Welcome to the show, and here are your hosts, the diabolical Elite Gaming Guru, the illustrious Red Dead Panda, and the Australian stud AshtreyGaming. So let's get this party started. Shit.
We are live.
Morning.
He needs the topics now. He's like, oh, poop. We're live, Elite.
Answer the topics. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Gamers Initiative podcast, starring myself, the Gaming Guru, AshtreyGaming, Red Dead Panda, and today's special guest, Jen. From Windows Central.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, hello, Jen.
Welcome.
How you doing, you old mucker? Rubbing your head thing, you know,
Wow.
Nuggies.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You may live to regret it. We'll see.
We will see.
I'm sure we won't. We regret late every week,
Yeah, we regret.
but I guess they're usually fine.
Definitely regret him.
Yeah.
He finds his way back.
Yeah, he does.
Are we running live okay? Are we okay? Because we ain't got anyone on yet, and usually we've got quite a few people in the chat. And there's no one here at the moment, which is very unusual.
Yeah, no.
It is a little unusual, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Is it buffering at all, or is it okay?
Got six watching. It is buffering a little bit, yeah.
Why?
Actually,
Give me a second.
Don't know.
You want me to tweet out my boobs or something?
Yes,
Sure.
If you could, that'd be great.
Sure.
If you could send them here first, just so we can approve them.
Do you want to approve Simps, come.
Oh, that's great.
Right. So, what have you been up to? What have you been up? Let's start with Red Dead Panda actually, because we never started her, and she drags on the longest.
Oh, thanks.
Well, she's trying to. I think she's trying to fix the video up at the moment. Do you want to leave her
Screw it.
last?
Screw her then, yeah. Go on. Let's go start with Jen then, the guest. Jen, what have you been up to? What have you been playing? What are you wearing?
Well, I'm
Don't
wearing
have
some
to
really,
answer any
really.
of that, and HR is just a call away.
I thought we already decided Ashtray was the HR.
Sort it, Ashtray. Put him on a timeout.
All right, I will.
I mean, I was going to answer the question. I'm wearing some really fetching pizza
Ooh.
pajamas.
Pizza.
So, yeah.
What pizza's
got
on?
pizza slices all over them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whether that turns you on is up to you, you know. So what have I been up to? Well, working, following the gaming news, playing some games, probably the same games as everyone else this week. It's been quite a hot week for launches. But yeah, that's basically me. Not a very exciting life, really.
Have you played much of Hi-Fi
Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush, yeah. Have you played much of that yet?
I have, yeah. It's not the kind of game I would normally play because it's a rhythm game and I've got no rhythm whatsoever. I nearly quit at the tutorial stage, but I did think, how embarrassing would this be after I've hyped this on Twitter to quit at the tutorial because I can't play it. So I really stuck with it. I actually ended up shutting my eyes as I was playing it, yeah. And I finally got the rhythm, and now I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it takes a little
I've
bit.
been vibing like the vibe cat to it. Music's great.
Nice. Red, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of everything. I think I played some Witcher this week. I have been playing some ESO. I jumped on and I was playing oh my god, some Fortnite last night, and then also downloaded the GoldenEye. I didn't get much sleep last night. It was very interesting with all the flooding that was happening, so I was quite wide awake. For those out there watching live, there was a state of emergency called in my city because of the amount of weather, so rain, it's a big weather bomb. So it's been interesting, to say the least. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of different games this week. I'm just trying to think. There's games I've been playing and I haven't even mentioned on here. So yeah, ugh. I've done a lot of gaming this week, which has been really, really nice for once.
Nice indeed. Now, Elite, what have you been up to?
Well, are you ready? I've been playing Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush.
What
It's
music
not
is-
hard to
I've
say,
actually
dude.
playing that. I keep forgetting it.
You're
I'll
just
be
rubbish
halfway
at
through the
this.
sentence.
You're just
and I'll
rubbish
forget
at this,
what I'm
Elite.
talking about. Yeah, rubbish. I was explaining it yet. You can't say rubbish yet. Bobber's. Oh, we got Bobber. Bobber.
Seriously, he's going to pull you up for sexual harassment one of these days.
Right. I'm preparing that game. It's quite fun. I've got to go. So I've got through the first stage now. I find it quite interesting actually. Quite enjoying that. What's been playing? I've been playing Conan. The bit. I've been playing Conan, and there was something else I was playing, but I can't remember what it was now. Oh, what else I downloaded? Something else launched, didn't it? Oh, I was gonna download Monster Hunter, and there was another game that launched, and I was downloading. I can't remember what it is now. Screw it. Fuck it. Move on. Actually, while we've got Jen on the chat, Jen, you've already played that zombie game in space, Dead Space. There we go.
Dead Space.
Space.
Zombie game in space. Yeah, I don't think there's actually any zombies in it, but yeah, I have played it.
And you got early access, didn't you? You've been playing all week, haven't you?
So I got access on Wednesday, thankfully. So me and my boyfriend were actually swapping the controller and playing different parts of it. I've never played it before, so it's been quite an experience for me. Extremely scary. Most of the game really is the atmosphere rather than the monsters. You just feel like anything can jump out at you at any moment. The music even unnerves you. It's absolutely fantastic. My only qualms with it are the main character, I'm convinced, is Mark Zuckerberg. It looks just like him. And that's the only thing that puts me off when I'm playing it. I feel like I'm playing as Mark Zuckerberg.
So is it a remake, is it, or is it a remaster? It's a remake, isn't it?
It's a remake, yeah. I have never played the original, so I've got no basis for comparison, really.
Yeah.
But it looks impeccable. I mean, even down to the light bouncing off your main character's helmet. It's absolutely fantastically done compared to some of the games we've seen this week, which we'll get to later, I'm sure.
You threw me there. So it's a remake. Yeah, I never really played them. I think because they're all free on Game Pass, aren't they? And I remember loading one up and I thought, this looks dated, and just deleted it. But
Yeah.
I might play the remake, definitely. I might give it a go, jump back in it. It's a remake of the first game, isn't it, which came out in 2008, I believe. So a worthy remake. It's not like been out 2 months, like some companies do. So it's brilliant. Right, I've got the things up now though. I've got the topics up. So should we dive straight into our first topic?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Should we do that? Everyone up for that?
Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
I'm ready. My body's ready.
You ready? Should we do it? Right. Topic number one. A blast from the past has just landed in Xbox Game Pass. GoldenEye 007.
Yeah. You didn't have to read it out like that, but yeah, go for it.
Oh, shall I go back then and read it out differently?
Nah, you're okay.
Okay. Yeah, so Game Pass, GoldenEye has dropped in Game Pass. I never played the game originally.
What? Get off the podcast.
Okay.
That's fine.
Sorry.
You're
Have to
okay,
get rid of both of
Jen.
us.
Elite's been here long enough to know that he should have played the title.
I've never played the game. This is not a remake or anything, or remaster, is it? It's just a updated.
It's been updated in the sense of you've now got the use of a second joystick, so camera angles. You've got it's now in 4K, so it's kind of had that lovely backwards compatibility treatment to it. So it does look very, very cool. Playing it, the music is there, everything is there.
Is it exclusive to Xbox?
No, it's on. And Nintendo got it. So the thing is, you've only got
Nintendo and Xbox.
You've got couch co-op on Xbox only, and Nintendo has online co-op. I'm so peeved that Xbox does not have online co-op.
Oh, fire. Ashtray, you there? Have you played it?
I am, and I have, yes, because I'm not a fraud like you, Elite.
Oh.
I played it originally on the N64. I actually still own it on the N64. I've got it in my lounge room. But yeah, I did download it and loaded it up and had a play for about 5-10 minutes. It's yeah, it is a different version to the Nintendo version. They did have to remake this to make it like 4K and stuff like that. So it is different version. It's a pity it doesn't have online co-op. That would be nice, but anyway, it is what it is. It's a little bit of fun, a little bit of nostalgia. But yeah, the graphics are terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, absolutely. And each gun sounds the same when you reload it, which is funny.
But you listen
forgot
to
about that.
you listen to the shooting sounds. It's like pew pew pew. I'm like, oh, this is so good. Like it just brings me back to my childhood of like playing slappers only and like paintball mode and like unlimited proximity mines. And honestly, because I got through the first 3 stages yesterday, and it is surprising how good that game was for the time
For
it
its
released.
time,
Like,
yep.
if you shoot someone in the neck, they like put their big block arms up to their neck. If you shoot them in the shoulder, their shoulder like they hold. Yeah, even like it's surprising how realistic they react to being shot in certain locations on the body, like getting shot in the knee and like even some like. The AI is pretty impressive for for that time frame, and I think we've got so much to kind of be thankful for that this game released, because it did so much for FPS, it did so much for multiplayer, so it was well ahead of its time in my opinion. Even like I'll be on the other side of a map and the AI are like shooting at you, and I'm like, I can't even see this person, but they can see me, and I'm like, because of the fog in that sense. But it's like it's surprisingly good. Like they really dumb down the AI in some of these games for us, but it's a lot easier than I remember it being, because obviously FPS shooters are a lot harder than they were back then, but it's so much easier to play through with an extra, like being able to adjust your camera angle. I am sorry to the stream guys, I'm not sure what's happening. I can't seem to get it to behave itself, so just bear with, guys. Hopefully when I transition to something else I should fix it. I might do a quick retransition. And
Well, I was a PC gamer when sort of think that came out, so I was playing better games on PC. So sorry folks.
So
I know.
you're one of those gamers.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
I
right.
didn't join console gaming until about 2008, I think.
That's another cross against your name.
Yeah, thank you.
to Boba's question in the chat, by the way, this is my gameplay. I'm really sorry. I'm no good at these type of rhythm-based games, and I was just mucking around going like, how do I do these combos and all of that jazz for the hi-fi. But yeah, it is dated, so realistically, you will definitely be like, you can adjust sensitivity and stuff, and some of it's like, how did we work with this UI back then? But yeah, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised to kind of jump back in and just see what it was all about. GoldenEye, classic.
And it was another shadow drop, really, wasn't it? I mean, we'd heard some rumbles a few months ago, but nothing. It stayed quiet, and then all of a sudden it was available. So
Yeah.
we just keep getting games.
They're just dropping games. For a console with no games and Game Pass being trash, it's just dropping games weekly now. There's something else coming out before the end of the month, isn't there? I'm pretty sure there's something else coming
Why
out.
don't you tell us about it?
I can't, because I can't remember. I'd love to. No, it's not Age of Empires, is it? When's Age of Empires dropping?
I don't know. I think that's been delayed again, hasn't it?
Was it?
Console?
No
Poops,
idea.
looking
It
forward
has
to
a
that.
release
I don't
date,
know.
doesn't it? I don't know. But
No, you are right. I think there is an Age of Empires coming out January the 26th.
Yeah, I think 26th. I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah. Age of Empires 4. Is that right?
Yeah.
Not really my kind of game, but I know there's a lot of people excited about it. Although that's the thing with GoldenEye, it's never going to appeal to someone like me or Elite who've never played it, because it's a downloadable nostalgia bomb. You know, that's why people are loving it, because they played it years ago and it's one of their first experiences of an FPS. I felt like the only person in the gaming sphere that wasn't excited for it. It was all over Twitter. But from the videos I've seen, one thing I will say is the soundtrack seems like fire.
yeah. The music is like where it's at. Like all the little things is where it's at. Yeah. Oh,
Right. I'm gonna.
I just want to play it
Okay,
right
you
now,
right, Red?
guys.
Okay. Thought you was
Yeah.
doing something.
Yeah.
I
What
was
else
going
is
to bounce
there
on to
gonna
the next topic. Yeah, I was going to bounce on to the next topic, but I realised I jumped the gun there, didn't I? I
Yep.
didn't realise that was topic number 2. Shit.
What's the first topic then?
The first topic was a blast from the past, just landed in the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
GoldenEye 007. And the second topic was Dead Space, which we sort of covered this. Anyone else wants to talk about it again?
Well, I guess if you were to talk about it, because you've played it, Jen, what are your thoughts? Like, what would you rate this game from so far? What you've played of Dead Space?
As a lover of horror games, I would definitely put it at a 9 out of 10 at the moment, only because I've only played the first part of it, and I've played it twice because I was playing with my boyfriend, swapping the controller, but now I want my own playthrough with my own achievements, so I'm going through it all over again. I would be interested to hear people's thoughts on it who had played Callisto Protocol, because I know there was a lot of people disappointed in that because it was meant to be, you know, a spiritual successor to Dead Space, and there was a lot of people annoyed about how that game turned out. So I'd like to know what people think of the remake in comparison to that. Have any of you guys played Callisto Protocol?
No.
I'm going to be completely honest and go, I'm a giant wuss and I refuse to play horror games. Just saying. Like, if I watch a horror movie, it's usually like with something in front of my face or the sound turned all the way down and subtitles. Because I get scared super easily.
Best horror games don't overdo the jump scares, which is what Dead Space does. Like I said, it's all about the music and the atmosphere.
Yeah, the music is the bit that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, you'll hear a chair fall, a million miles away, and it'll scare the life out of you, but nothing really happens. It's just that constant feel of impending doom. Rather than being constantly attacked. That's what makes a great horror game, and I think that's what Dead Space does really well.
So it sounds like I'm not going to be playing that game. It sounds like all the things I do not like about horror is in that game.
You can play the game, but maybe in the daylight, but then you're not really getting the best experience.
I'll be dead by daylight.
I think also this is the problem this is why I think VR will never kick off yet, because you don't get games like Dead Space in VR. I think games like Dead Space in VR would just thrive massively. I think that'd be a massive seller.
VR's still really in its infancy around what they can and can't do with games, and I think practical applications of all the genres are coming, but it's going to take its time. It's still very niche in that respect, so they aren't getting all the jump and support and behind it, but that might change with what Sony's doing with their PSVR 2. It might become less niche, but at that price tag, no one's buying it. Not in a recession.
No.
I think Phil was right. He said he'll hang out until the market sort of picks up on it, and I think that's the right move. I think it's just a waste of money to throw into it, unless you just get third-party support VR, like the Quest or something, on your system. I think it's not worth bothering. It's not worth the investment, I think. Yeah, so I just want to do a shout out to everyone in the chat. So we've got Fuck You, we've got Trials Fan, we've got Muppet. Is Muppet gone? Or is he still here? You Muppet. He's
You are the Muppet.
Yeah.
Oh, see, fit in really well.
Yep.
Yeah. Why I order? We've got Boba.
God damn it.
We've got Cool Breeze. We've got Cool Breeze. We've still got Triad Fan. And we've got Other Zinc as well. Hello, Other Zinc. You all right? And yeah. Right, so I'm going to jump on to the next topic because you guys are boring. Right, so topic number 3. Reviews of Forspoken on PS5 don't paint a pretty picture for the 2-year timed exclusive.
Yeah.
So, because it's all 4 reviews.
69 on Metacritic, and is it the same on OpenCritic?
Is it gone up now? Is it? It was 68 before.
Oh, last time I checked, it was 69. Has it gone down to 68?
I don't know. It was, yeah.
The only time a game that gets that score doesn't get laughed at from the joke.
Yeah. Does anyone with a PlayStation have any interest in picking this game up?
Tryhard's in this chat, right?
Not anymore.
Yeah. So just so you know, so currently it's actually sitting at 67.
Oh, it's
with and hang on, the user rating's 3.6.
Ooh, that's bad.
Damn.
That's like Last of Us 2 bad.
Yeah. Please.
Sorry to just throw some PlayStation games under the bus. But yeah. So Jen, you said you're not going to pick it up now. What's happened in relation to Forspoken that it's now changed your mind on picking it up?
This game, man, I'm actually really disappointed for them. When I first saw the trailers for this, I was actually so jealous that it was PlayStation exclusive because it has everything that I love in a game. You know, monsters, magic, killing shit. It's just my kind of game. At the time, I didn't know that it was coming to PC as well, so I was proper jealous about it. But since seeing gameplay of it, it's just absolute cringe. I mean, I'm not into dogpiling on the game. I don't really support that. I think, you know, I don't want to have another situation like we had with Andromeda and Anthem and, you know, all the other games that have been piled on. But yeah, exactly, by social media, because that leads to games getting cancelled and DLC, and you know, I don't want the developers completely dropping the game. You know, I wanted them to use it as a chance to improve. So I'll choose my wording very carefully with this. But it's just the gameplay I've seen. It's like, I mean, even the mouth movement it's unforgivable for dialogue that's already been written, and it's not a character that the player has created. It is unforgivable how that mouth moves. It's really off-putting to watch. The actual dialogue itself is cringe. The game itself is 70 quid here, like $70 in the US. I said on Twitter a few times this week, if it was a 30 quid game or a Game Pass game, yeah, I'd absolutely try it. But that's where the comparisons end, you know, with games like the hi-fi one we've been playing. It's a 70 quid game. You're expecting, you know, AAA results, and we're not getting it, you know.
Yeah.
So I would not be playing that game at that price. It would have to be massively reduced for me.
So with Sony got 2-year exclusivity on it, they're kind of stuck with it. I mean, I'm sure that they'll do some upgrades graphically, because it's running at sometimes 720p apparently, so that's not good either. But this is what can happen when money had in games. Sometimes it could be a hit and a miss, and this one seems to be a bit of a miss. I saw some footage on it myself, and the battling is like they just stand there and they don't really fight back, which is kind of weird in itself. One thing I didn't like though, for me, my person, because I like open world third person type of games, is that you're constantly changing back and forth from this from reality to this other dimension or whatever, and I don't like when you keep having to go back to, you know, everyday life, and that kind of, to me, that breaks the immersion of the game. That's why what I hated about and I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan, but that's what I hated about Assassin's Creed games, was that you'd have to go back to the Animus all the time, and I was like, oh, just put me back into the world where I'm playing. So that, yeah, you're right. The cringy dialogue, the graphics aren't that good. I mean, they made the lady that plays the character, this good looking woman, look like that. I mean, come on, like at least make it look more like her, at least anyway. But yeah, it's not good.
She's
but
a
at least
beautiful girl as well, isn't she?
I know,
absolutely
right?
Beautiful. Did you see her in Resident Evil? I didn't even know it was the same actress until someone pointed it out to me. Like, what have they done to this poor woman?
Exactly. The animations are horrible. I just don't understand. Maybe this is their B team or C team on this game, but I still have heard from some people that it's fun to play, and that's what gaming is about. But yeah, if it's got things like, you know, the graphics are shonky or the lip syncing's out, that can break things for me. Because as soon as I notice that the syncing is out, it shits me. I can't stand it because I can't not notice it from there. But good to know that the PlayStation guys are beta testing this for us when we get it in a couple of years' time, and it will probably run at 4K 60 for us. So I'm happy to wait for it.
Time? Are you honestly going to play
it'll probably come straight into Game
It is
Pass
in Game
anyway.
Pass, yeah.
By that stage, so I'm good.
Firstly, before I go into my view of it all, is Tryhard fan. Have you played it? I'll see what's his face. She's no Elite said he's played it and he thinks it's actually very good. So I just wanted to try and play it as well. So
I've heard similar things from people saying it's actually not as bad as people are saying. So yeah, continue anyway. Elite.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I think it depends on the style of game you like, isn't it? I mean, I did like the look of it. It did remind me, kind of in a way, like Anthem kind of thing. I like the open world thing and the movement, the traversing around the world. That all looked fantastic. It did remind me a bit like, I think I posted on Twitter about Scalebound. Where you're sort of brought from modern day into sort of fantasy setting, and it's still sort of that kind of kid that's sort of pulled into that. But it does look like it's things like the optimization that's holding it back, the dialogue, and just seems to be the AI looks terrible. As you said, people posting gameplay clips on Twitter of it. I've seen Alana Pierce play it. The AI looks absolutely terrible. It looks like they've just made no effort. You see, everyone I've seen playing the game runs up to an enemy, shoots it a few times, aggroes it. As the enemy turns around to face them, they just back off a bit, and then the enemy just loses aggro and turns back again, and then run up, shoot it, run away, run up, shoot it, run away, rinse, repeat, and they just do that to every enemy, and it just looks so dry and so boring. But please, guys in the chat, Trial said he's not interested in it whatsoever, and she's no Elite. If you're still there, let us know what you do enjoy about the game. I'd love to hear it. I'm shocked by it. What was really annoying me, I'm just touching this, I don't want to go into it, is the people that are claiming the reason why it's getting hate is because it's a black girl and it's a girl. She's a female, and that's why it's getting hate. Nothing else. They're not saying something to do with optimization or anything, a dialogue or anything. They're literally just saying people just being racist and bigots and stuff.
Yep,
so,
and look at the people that are saying that.
Yeah.
And there's your answer.
Let's see if they keep the same energy for when Perfect Dark comes out.
Like Spider-Man Miles Morales wasn't like the biggest freaking game on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a load of bullshit. Just making excuses.
Well, Deathloop as well. That they didn't buy that one. They shit on that game and didn't buy it, but they weren't two white characters in it. So it's just I hate they keep pushing that narrative and agenda into gaming. They stop it. They just need to stop that disgusting.
That's like the only card they got left to play when there's no actual discussion points or anything of validity. So they go, oh, well, I've got the race card, and that's what they do. So I just ignore it and move on.
But it's dangerous to gaming. They shouldn't do it.
It is, but it's dangerous to everything.
Yeah, it is. So, but Red, what do you think? Would you? I will play it if it comes to Game Pass. I was going to also say my concern when Sony does money hack these games is like Babylon Fall. They do really badly. Nobody plays them. They get cancelled or die.
Yeah.
Because they can't survive on just one platform. And remember, it's sort of Avengers, where they had all exclusive content for PlayStation, and that just didn't do well. So I think a lot of people just didn't play the game because of all the exclusive content the PlayStation had, like Spider-Man character and things like that. So people just sort of shunned it, really. And I think, but in 2 years' time, this game won't be around. I don't think to even come to Xbox. They might release it desperately on Game Pass, but I reckon it won't even be around. I mean, it's just sad, really. And I hope Square Enix eventually learn a lesson and stop accepting Sony's money, because they're just killing their own business, their own franchises by doing this. I just don't get why they're just taking the money. It's just not doing them any favours.
No, it's not. Oh, well, you guys out there who are listening to the Gamers Initiative podcast with Elite Gaming Guru, Red Dead Panda, and myself, Ashtray Gaming, with our special guest, Jen from Windows Central. Hit that like button, share it out. Would be greatly appreciated. Shout out to Toolman55 in the chat. Good to see you, man.
Fuck you.
Appreciate you coming.
Bruv.
My thoughts on this.
I swallowed wrongly.
And in relation to this title, I feel. I mean, I'm with you on that, Jen. Like when this game first showed, Project Athea was first showed, I was actually quite impressed with them just kind of showing a little snippet of what they're intending to do with the game before they'd even had a character signed on the actress who was going to be playing that character and all of that. And I was quite intrigued, and I was like, that's one to look out for. And when the rumblings came up that it was a 2-year timed exclusive, I was like, oh yeah, 2 years time, I'll definitely pick it up and play it. I'm only picking it up and playing it if it comes to Game Pass or if they fix it. I'm rather disappointed that this game was able to release in the state it released, and I feel like it still needed time before it was ready to go out to the wider or to the general public. Some of the animations,
Absolutely.
looking at the gameplay, and I'll be brutally honest, the gameplay, like the way that she like fires off her spells and everything, it looks boring AF to me. It looks boring as hell. Like, how they've done the fights. Like, once you get the sword, it gets a little bit more interesting. And I read quite a few reviews and like, I don't know, it also looks interesting when you think about how Square Enix was treating all the Western studios, and this isn't a Western studio that's launched this game, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they react to this, because it hasn't had a great lot of fanfare behind it, and I do feel bad for the devs, because you want the devs to kind of continue to work on the game. You don't want anyone to be like lose their jobs or any restructuring happening or anything like that, because within our industry, yes, people move everywhere within the industry, and they're in one studio and then another studio the next year and so on and so forth. You just don't want to see anyone disheartened by this. And I feel like they will be a bit disheartened by the reception from the gaming community, because it's turning into memes and such. But I think the only way to prevent that from happening, and I've been saying this time and time again, is to stop releasing games that aren't ready, that aren't fully polished. That demo was enough to kind of indicate people's reception. Then they did some updates on the demo, but like for the PS5 to be running at like 900p in some sections, 720p, it's so poorly optimized in my opinion. And for the fact that all the PC requirements are outlandishly ridiculous in relation to that. So your Luminous engine, take another look at it, guys, because you need to optimize this game properly. People have paid $70 in the US, £70 in the UK, whether you're on PC or you're on the PS5. That doesn't even account to what it is, the price in New Zealand and Australia. And we're heading into a recession. So unless your game is worth it, don't be charging those prices. And I think this massive wake-up call is needed for the industry as a whole around releasing half-assed games that need a little bit more time in the oven. And I think, like, overall, the idea of the game, etc., good, but it just needed more time, and I think it needed a bit more evolution in what they were trying to do, even the storyline. And yes, the cringe on some of the voice acting and like some of the actual, like, whoever wrote the lines needs to make sure that they were needs to just go back to
school.
Yeah, go back to school. I was going to say needs to get their brain checked, but that's a bit mean. Go back to school. Go back to school. Hire a different writer. Sense check it. Like, especially if you're not necessarily like you're I don't know. It was cringe, and I was kind of sad because I was looking forward to seeing what the PC would do with it, seeing how the PS5 would play that title, to kind of get an idea of what to expect when it comes to Xbox in 2 years' time. So in 2 years' time, it better be optimized, because the tools are there, the engine should be a bit more mature by that point, etc., and hopefully they'll put the time and effort in to actually do a decent port. But then just the way they treated this title on the PC and PS5 just doesn't give me a lot of hope in that respect. And I know that sounds like I'm being a bit of a Debbie Downer, but just being realistic around what we're seeing at the moment. And it just pissed me off just looking at that, yeah.
Well, I'm
to
sure...
add to that, sorry.
You go. No, you go.
Yeah, they don't need to be afraid of delaying games, because the PR disaster that comes from releasing an unfinished game like this, is really hard to come back from. We've only seen a few games actually pull it off. It's possible. Like No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077 did it, but it took absolutely years. And people rake Xbox through the coals for stuff like this, and like Starfield and Redfall being delayed. But it's worth it. It's only a short-term bit of controversy on Twitter to delay a game, but you're fighting back through years of bad PR if you release a game that looks as bad as Forspoken does at the moment.
First impressions, eh? First impressions of a title is everything. And
people will not come back.
Yep. What were you going to say?
Indeed.
I agree. I just want to shout out to Titan, sorry, because Titan Drago's driving, so you can't really type. But yeah, send us a message, mate. We want to get you on the show sometime.
Hi, Emmanuel.
Sorry, Astray, carry on.
I was just going to say, I'm sure they'll spend more time on Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm convinced they must have two internal teams, one that makes the shit games and one that makes the good games. Because not that I'm into Final Fantasy myself, but I mean, it's got a huge following, and they seem to play well. The what do you call it? The Tomb Raider games. They've been good. They must have an A and a B team, or they just they don't have consistency. And then they make a good game, a bad game, a good game, a bad game. I'm not saying it's bad because I haven't actually played it, but I'm just basing that off what I've seen gameplay wise and what people have sort of spoken about. But the gameplay loop might be really fun. So yeah, it's just disappointing, and to pay and to expect people to pay full price for it when it's which is what $100 here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
It's disappointing.
Not everyone buys a game every time they drop, right? So you got to sometimes be, all right, do I want to spend my hard-earned money on this particular game? And then if you do, it's like Saints Row for me. I did, and I was like, this game is trash. So I took it back.
Yeah, if you're going to tout AAA, people expect a certain level of, I guess, what's the word? Polish and quality on a AAA title, because that starts also stays. You kind of get an idea of how big the studio is if it's AAA, or how much money they're putting into the game, and so I would understand if it's a AA or an indie kind of releasing it a little bit more unpolished, because the funding in that respect, but if you've got a AAA studio and you're touting a AAA title, then you should be able to have a bit of money in the bank to be able to kind of handle some delays for this title. And the quality checking, Nintendo doesn't release games specifically that are really, really buggy or anything like that. I mean, this game isn't overly buggy. It's just there's lots of little quality of life improvements that they could make to really help with immersion and bring the game to life. Because even the open world area is just full of bad guys, and there's no NPCs in the open world, only in the towns, and the towns are dead and empty, basically. And so it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a game that's fully formed. And I think if you are that type of studio and so on and so forth, you should be able to deliver a game that people expect at the quality it should be at. Cyberpunk definitely screwed up with the way they launched. It was a good game in the sense of what was there, but it should have never come out on last gen consoles. And the other side of that factor is they have a lot of love brought back into that title due to the Edge Runner series on Netflix. That brought so many people back.
I think the main take as well is Jim Ryan specifically has claimed that $70 games raises the quality and Game Pass lowers the quality of games. And as we've seen recently, there's no evidence of that whatsoever. It's sort of just a marketing ploy, I think, just to sell games for more money than they should be, I think. And Shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush got Shadow dropped yesterday, and it already outsold Forspoken. So I don't see much hope for Forspoken, sadly. And it's sad for the developers.
That's only on one platform.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just think they need to stop this money hatting Sony or Square Enix, because it's just killing their own business, killing their own games.
Yeah, I think it's just a budget thing or a time frame thing.
Yeah. And
they were told to push it out, probably. So
yeah, because it had been delayed so many times, and Sony's probably said, just get it out. And now there we go. Now that's dead, and now I don't know what I've got next until,
Till Spider-Man?
We've got a massive gap now. Yeah.
They'll just shadow drop Wolverine on us all of a sudden. I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
Right, I'm going to bounce on to the next topic, you mofos. Xbox's gaming revenue down 13% for the last quarter. However, monthly active users have surpassed 120 billion trillion despite this source. Despite this. Yes. So who wants to run with this first?
I'll jump in real quick if you don't mind. Yeah.
Go for
All right.
Yay.
Yeah. Look, it's not a good
Love
thing,
you.
but you got to remember they can't sustain the highs from the previous years because we had COVID. They saw a massive increase of sales, whether it was digital sales or peripherals, consoles, and stuff. So that was huge for everyone in the tech industry, including Sony. That over COVID 2021 and 2020 were massive. And I think it sort of started to peter off a little bit in 2022. So you're seeing this big drop here. You got to remember that they're always doing year on year. So it's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not huge to what their actual whole portfolio is. If you have a look at their sales over the last, sort of decade or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is concerning because we did just have Christmas, we did just have holiday season. We had sales of the Series S and X, especially the S, do fairly well, and yet they still report a drop. Now I think, from anyone can correct me, this is MS as a whole, so it's not just the gaming division; it's other parts of Microsoft as well. So it's all
like
encompass
13% reduction in Xbox hardware revenue. Because I think there was with what's happening with components and such, the price for the console, they're definitely selling it at a loss. Definitely. So I think that's also
$250.
Yeah,
I think
taking
it was
that into account, Series S are readily available. Series X's are still, in certain places, you still have trouble finding them. The stock shifts very quickly. So yeah, I think there's a lot that impacts this whole thing. But I think you're right. It is mainly just Microsoft all over. Yeah.
Yep. But on top of that, there's a reason why Sony put their price of their consoles up, or started forcing bundles out, and Microsoft just said, you know what, we can take the hit, and so they clearly have. You can see that now. But these guys, also look at well in advance, so they'll know that they'll recoup these losses in time as well.
Well, I like the sorry, I was just gonna say I like the fact that they're talking about the fact that Microsoft said the reductions have been partially offset by continued growth for Xbox Game Pass, like new highs in subscription numbers. So they haven't told us what those ones are yet, but we can all kind of glean at what they could be. And the 120 million monthly active users, surpassing that's insane. And for all of those people out there in La La Land and console warring, in the sense of complaining about Xbox's subscription for Game Pass and how PlayStation's PS Plus has got more subscribers than Game Pass. Well, Game Pass is just Game Pass, and that doesn't take into account the amount of people who access online via Gold. That doesn't include the amount of people who are accessing through free-to-play titles that you don't need to pay for online. So it's quite interesting just to see how many people are actively using the consoles, and that accounts for people who game share and so on and so forth. So it's quite impressive to see the user interaction and engagement quite high. And I think with the fact that titles are now going to start coming in this year, we should see a massive uptake in here, and probably a change around gaming revenue and service revenue, and all of that should go up with the games coming.
100%.
So I think it was just a lackluster year last year. There wasn't much available, so yeah.
Jen, if you're still with us.
Yeah.
I am. I'm trying not to butt in. I'm being really polite.
You can.
Here.
You can always cut a lead off.
Just
talk
over Elite. We don't mind. Sorry, Elite.
What is your take on this?
This is just a bit of non-news to me. I mean, what tech company has had positive revenue news in the past 12 months? Can you name one? Because I can't. Yeah,
delusional fanboys can though.
Yeah. Just echoing what Ashtray said, we're still seeing the hangover from COVID. During that time, everyone purchased work from home gear, like webcams, laptops, no one's buying that now. Everyone's worried about paying their energy bills. You know, no one's purchasing anything really of any value. This has affected us at Windows Central as well. You know, we rely on people buying things via our website. No one's buying shit right now. So again, it's not a shock to see Xbox reporting this. The Game Pass thing is really positive because that shows long-term value. You know, people are committing to the ecosystem by getting a Game Pass subscription. You know, I subscribed to Netflix years ago. I can't think of a time I'll ever cancel that. That's what they're hoping for Game Pass subscribers. You know, they're going to have these people for life. We know that they sell the consoles at a loss, the Series S and X, so just them selling loads over Christmas, even though they probably didn't make much money from that at the time, if those people have subscribed to Game Pass, that's a win, in my opinion.
Exactly. I mean, we all know the console's just a gateway into the ecosystem anyway. It always has been. Go back to the old Sega Nintendo days back in the day, and they were selling those consoles at a loss. So it's not new. It's not a new tactic. It's always been a thing. It's just that Sony don't sell theirs at a loss currently because they can't afford to.
And I think
that's the only reason.
And the PlayStation's cheap to make.
Yeah. No.
Well, they're removing the disc drive, so it will be. You have to pay extra for it separately.
Messy.
Sorry, I'm just being a dick. But it's just interesting. Like, we're talking about like the hangover from COVID, but we're talking about heading into a recession that's going to hit the economy worldwide. It's already hitting people, and people are being very selective with the titles that they buy. And so anything that's not coming into Game Pass as a third-party title, those will be the games that people are purchasing, and they'll go for the subscription service because the first-party titles will go day and date. And I think that's the biggest thing is you're going to see Game Pass numbers continue to rise as a result of people under economic stress because they can't afford to buy titles day and date. They can't afford to spend like $70 here, and frivolously spend money like crazy. Even I'm like going, what games do I want to buy that aren't in Game Pass this year? Because my mortgage is going up an additional $1,000 per month, because of interest rates going up, and I'm just like, oh no. So I'm even looking at going, okay, be smart with my money, play the games that I can through Game Pass, and then buy the titles that I really want to buy, to make sure that I am not putting myself under any undue financial stress, and so we can wade through this economic uncertainty. Yeah.
This also sort of shows or sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word. Anyway, it's like the layoffs that happened last week. This is kind of in correlation to that. I think they've seen that their numbers are down. They've obviously got a lot of extra people working for them, or had a lot of people working for them through COVID that they don't need anymore. And businesses have to adjust. So I think it's sort of just part and parcel of the layoffs, and it's related as well.
Yeah.
What people miss from that as well is the financial year obviously ends in March. So many businesses will lay off staff at this point to then re-employ them come April, just to make, the books balance. So again, that whole layoff thing was a bit of non-news for me. I'm just used to seeing it at this point.
It was just interesting how people ran with it just about the Microsoft Xbox piece.
Yeah.
But you had Amazon, 18,000 people laid off. You had, Google 12,000. And it was like, why are people running with the narrative about Microsoft only? And it was just basically delusional fanboys again, because they wanted to.
As well.
Yeah, it was like the sky is falling. I'm like, everyone is impacted as a massive tech company, and for people to go after and say this is poor business management on Xbox's side, this is why they're doing layoffs on those specific studios, and it's like, well, they've got contractors. People just really need to engage their brains sometimes, and look at the whole picture holistically. Yeah.
I will never engage their brain because it's console wars. That's why.
Speaking of engaging the brain, did anyone catch the Fox News report about the Xbox and its eco mode?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's just the media latching onto something completely random from Xbox, which has been in place for years now. And turning it into something political.
But like PlayStation has like energy saving mode, Nintendo has like energy saving mode and stuff like that. Like they have modes to kind of not put up your energy bills and things like that. So that made me laugh. I was like, oh, Fox News really.
Yeah, don't pay attention
God
to
forbid
them.
we all save some money. Jesus Christ.
Yep. God forbid you can't pay your power bill because, the Xbox is just on all the time and doesn't save any power.
Yeah. But I was just going to say on the topic though, as it's been highlighted, there's sort of people have highlighted anyway. Yeah, there was this was compared to last year when around the same time we had Halo and Forza drop. So and with this year we had 2022, I should say, we didn't have anything drop. So you're gonna see a decline.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then as you said, for COVID, things are dropping off. People are not buying as much because the money and inflation and the increase of energy bills are going up. People have just across the board, people have just stopped spending money. So it is just once again another just mute subject, and it's just they want to run with because of console war, and it sort of supports their fake narrative in their head. And it's quite sad that these people are quite happy to lie to themselves, you know what I mean? Sort of convince themselves and lie to themselves just to feel better about a purchase of a console. And it's just weird, I think. It's very strange. So
Indeed.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd lie to yourself. why you'd have facts laid out in front of you, but you ignore them and choose a weird narrative just to make yourself feel better. It's just weird.
People's egos and bias get in the way, and just I don't know. Not everyone thinks the same, so I guess that's the reality of the situation. 1 + 1 = 2, but to some people it equals 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Sony have been laying off staff for a long time now.
Yeah.
So, and they've actually lost a lot more staff. So, yeah.
Reality. All right. Are we ready to move along to the next topic?
Indeed.
Well, if the last topic wasn't titillating enough, sorry.
Oh, I'm so ready for this.
PlayStation's DualSense Edge has just released to the public, so people are getting their hands on it right now, and there was a teardown of the controller actually confirming why there is why the battery life does not last as long. So it's a substantial downgrade in the battery life compared with the actual standard version you get when you buy the console. And for the price tag, this is quite concerning, but who wants to lead us off on that? Jen, you sounded like you were quite ready to go. Go for it.
I'm ready to rip this controller apart.
Go for it.
Oh my god, what an absolute embarrassment! I would be embarrassed to admit I spent $200 on this trash. It's the equivalent of spending $120 on that Kanye West white T-shirt. 4 hours battery life. Are they joking?
4 to 6, yeah.
Oh, and they were justifying it by saying most people that use this will be wired in. I can get a wired controller for less than 30 quid. What are you thinking? I just think PlayStation fans need to hold them accountable.
Yep.
For this shit. If Xbox did this, they would be right through the coals. I've got an Elite 2 controller and it lasts 40 hours. I can never remember charging it. It lasts that long between playtimes.
Yeah. I'm
just why can they not make better quality? I'd rather spend that $200 on buying another Xbox Series S. I'd stack them.
And just to add a little bit of...
that's what I have to say.
Just to add a little bit more context to this. So the DualSense Edge battery life is 1,050 milliamps. The actual standard controller is 1,560 milliamps of the battery capacity. So it's substantially smaller in size. And they did a comparison, if you've seen the photos online, of the battery size that comes in the Edge versus the battery size that comes on the standard controller. And so this thoroughly concerned me, and we've been talking about this for months, about the fact that they weren't talking about the battery life, and they didn't even announce the battery capacity until it released.
Red flag.
Yeah, they were hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
Elite.
Well, we knew that. We knew that,
Yeah.
Red. We knew they were hiding it because they didn't
Yeah.
divulge the information there and then. If they had a 40-hour battery life, they would have put it straight up in lights
Screaming
first
up
thing.
for the rooftops. Yeah.
But since I'm already talking, I might as well go. It's a shame that they've got this controller that still has to stay wired. People talk about latency. I mean, that's just a cop out, in my opinion. It was made and developed to be a wireless controller.
Yep.
That's its purpose, not to be wired in 2023. Come on, give me a break. I do understand that people play wired when they're in playing for money, lots of money, if they're playing a Halo or whatever. Fine, but that's competitive. This is just playing at home. The one thing that I really do like about this controller, and it's not much, but I like the actual fact that you can take out the thumbstick modules. So it's not just taking the top off, which you can do on the Elite controllers, like on the Xbox, but you can actually take the entire module out and swap it.
For like stick drift
That's
issues,
actually, well, that's not a bad idea at all. That's probably, in my opinion, its best feature. Probably something that'll go under the radar. But I think that's actually a really good idea, because I can say it now, man. My Elite, which I've had, and it's a Series 2, the black and white one, I've only had that for a couple of months and it's already got stick drift, which is unfortunate. So I will take it back and get a full exchange. So, our policies over here in Australia are awesome. But beside the point, you can actually take out the module and replace it. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that feature a lot. It's got less paddles than the Xbox. It doesn't really have the customization that you really should get for that kind of price. So look, it's good that they've got it, but yeah, the battery life is a big issue. 4 to 6 hours. And we all know batteries degrade over time. I mean, for crying out loud, the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which I've got one, that's 40-hour battery life as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's really no excuses not to have a good battery in this controller at this stage.
It takes me 4 hours to create my character in Skyrim. 4 hours is nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
I hear what you're saying, Triad. I think it is. I think it's a nice iterative change in the controller itself. Like they have made vast improvements from the standard version to the new version. But I think for what you're getting, it isn't worth the $200 price tag. I don't even know how much it is over in New Zealand at the moment, actually. But like, it should be slightly cheaper for it. And the fact that, yes, the argument about having it plugged in and using wired, like I tend to use mine wired a lot, my Elite Series 2 wired, just because it depends on the games I'm playing, because it shuts off the Wi-Fi and it makes it a wired controller, Bluetooth. And so you get, yes, better latency, but the new consoles are designed for auto low latency anyway, between the screen, and they've also updates to the firmware and software and such allows like less latency between the actual controllers and the consoles themselves, and that was something that they really touted and talked about when the Xbox Series consoles first launched, talking about how they were trying to mitigate that issue and reduce the latency between controller to console, and they did a great job with that. But for the price tag you're paying, PlayStation isn't doing enough, in my opinion.
So Red, it's $200 US, which we're aware of. Here in Australia, it's $340.
Holy shit!
But you can buy the little modules for $35, so that's not too bad. But yeah, $340.
The Xbox Series Elite controller 2, I think, is 250 New Zealand dollars. So I can't even begin to imagine what the PlayStation controller is here.
The Elite Series 2. Oh well, see, they sold the Elite Series 2 without the paddles and stuff, so it's $189 here. But when you add the paddles and stuff in the case, that was another $80, I think, if I remember correctly.
I'm gonna go.
So you're paying about $250, $260.
I will just say I have to have a look at the price in New Zealand in a moment, but I'm just going to say I am impressed with the fact that they've improved the length of the stick, so they're not going to have that cut off, they've got a rounded edge, and from what people have said, it is more comfortable than the standard. They've done some iterative improvements, so I'm happy with that. It's just a battery life from a Pro controller where they touted like an embedded battery in it. You need to do better than 4 to 6 hours. You really do. Like you keep saying, Ashtray, like the battery life will degrade over time, and that means you're just going to have it plugged in the whole time. And for some people, that is not okay based on how they have their gaming set up to be doing that. You have yes, it comes with a nice braided cable, and the case is there, and all the stuff is in there, and they've done a lot of work behind that. But it's
but so does the Xbox
so
Elite.
does the Xbox, and I know that people are talking about how people are saying like Xbox is now going to copy PlayStation for this. It's like, well, PlayStation kind of copied Xbox, so it doesn't really matter, does it, who copies what? I do think the smart thing about the stick drift modules, I'm hoping what they do with the Elite Series 3 when they launch it is fix the bumper issues, but I also hope that they spend a little bit more and opt for those better joystick design. I can't think of the name of the product it is. It's got a specific name, but it doesn't have the stick drift issue like it does with these ones. I'll find it later. Elite,
Indeed.
thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's funny coming from the fan base that joke about having batteries in a controller still. I'm quite happy to have a controller that only lasts 4 hours. It's just weird. It's just disgusting. And a lot of people I've seen on Twitter are all asking for where's the reviews. There don't seem to be any reviews of the controller either.
Yeah, there are.
There are now, is there?
$400,
There wasn't this afternoon.
$399 in New Zealand.
Shit.
And then
It's $100 more than the
It's
Elite.
almost twice as much. Fucking hell. That's terrible.
What you'll find
What are you
as well,
getting?
unfortunately, is Sony are notorious for discommunicating people that give them negative reviews.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
if you see only positive reviews of a controller, that's probably why.
Yeah.
4 hours is ridiculous. When I saw that, I thought it was a typo.
Yeah.
That's how bad I thought it was.
So right now,
We've seen it on their previous games. They've blacklisted journalists that downscore their games or give an honest opinion. And then Forsaken recently, everyone knows that they was sort of cutting off journalists when they weren't giving out review copies, and there's a clear reason why. So
right now you can buy an Elite Series 2 controller for $260 New Zealand dollars. So that's an extra like $140 on top for that controller in New Zealand, and it's not worth that fucking price tag in my opinion.
4 hours.
Nah. No, not when you're looking at that comparatively with what Xbox has launched and released on this second version versus what PlayStation is releasing on their first version with an inbuilt battery life in it. Not good enough. Sorry, just reality, guys.
Yeah, it's not. It's awful. It's greed. It's greed, pure greed at this point. Sony just grasping money wherever they can. Because I've watched Destin's video recently, about 2 hours ago, didn't it? Recent one come out, and he was just talking about how Jim Ryan and FTC have gone to Brussels, haven't they, to try to block the ABK deal. It's
And
just,
the FTC is
it's just
suing,
desperation.
what's her
and
name?
greed.
Yeah, I wonder how much money he's signing a check for
Yeah, exactly.
for that shit.
Exactly.
Now,
How desperate must be? Why is FTC getting involved in Europe? It's just weird. The whole thing's weird now.
Something,
And
yes,
it's
there's
strange.
a lot going
there's something
on.
going on.
It's a
someone's
wait
being
and
paid
wait and
somewhere.
see. But
Yeah.
just to those who are gonna get themselves a DualSense Edge controller, I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it using it. It sounds like it is better in every aspect except the battery life. But that's one of the most important things. If you're a hardcore gamer, you will sit down and play titles for hours. And those are the people who are going to buy this product. And those are the people who are going to be impacted.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, go.
Jen's gone for a poo, so should we go to go on
Oh
to the
my
next topic?
god.
You're terrible.
You're such an asshole.
You want to-
You're such
Should
a
we move
prick.
on to
I like it though.
Yeah.
He's
Well, let's-
overcompensating. Let's just say that.
We may as well do a quick reset, and then one of you guys can shout out the chat, and then we'll start kicking into the next topic, and then by that time, Jen has hopefully washed her hands and back. All right, Gamers Initiative podcast with myself, AshtreyGaming, Red Dead Panda, Elite Gaming Guru. I'm sure you've heard of that, Todger, and Jen from Windows Central. Shout out to the chat. Oh, she's
big
back.
Shout
There
to
you
chat. Hello. We got
Infinite Umbra has joined us.
Infinite Umbra. We got Grey Monad. Try hard fans to hear. Others Inc. Emmanuel. Emmanuel always reminds me of that 1980s soft porn movie. I don't know why.
Everything reminds you of a soft porn movie. Elite, let's be honest.
Especially your voice, Red.
Oh my god.
Muppet.
I'm gay.
She's
Elite, it's not
still
happening.
with us. Yeah. Let's move on to the.
Oh shit.
Let's move on to the next topico. Oh yeah, right. Where was we?
Are we ready to move on?
Top,
I'm gonna mute myself because that's funny.
Topico's Italian for topic. Right. We've done the topic. Number 6, Xbox Developer Direct. People, did anyone watch it?
Obviously, everybody.
No.
Yeah,
we watched it. Yeah, I was joking. Right. So, should we start with? Let's go with Jen, the Windows Central lady. Jen, what did you think of this showcase? Go.
Oh, okay.
Give her like no help. She
I'm not
give her a
distracted in the
moment.
slightest.
Give her a moment.
Yeah. Jeez.
So talk a little bit
No,
more. Give
please.
a bit of a lead in Elite about what this developer direct was, how many games were shown.
Oh.
You know.
They showed about 5 games.
Yeah.
They showed us ESO,
5.
just DLC. Yeah, 5 games. Does ESO count as ESO DLC? They showed and dropped that day, which blew people's minds. Hi-Fi Rush. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
They showed Forza and they showed Redfall and they showed what was the other game they showed? Was there something else? That was 4 games. Yeah, 4 games.
Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, I said that though, didn't I?
Did
It
you?
was 4 games then. It was 4 games then.
5 games.
And I think it was panned across about 40 minutes.
Minecraft
They showed
Legends.
Minecraft Legends. That's the other one.
Promotion,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, nobody
We
cares.
thought
Nobody
Minecraft.
cares. Yeah, Minecraft Legends. So I've straight away on Twitter. I see everyone's said they're rebooting ESO straight back up again and get back into that.
I am.
Yeah, I've going to reinstall it. I did message you in for Infinite on Twitter, and you both ignored me. So
That says more
there's
about you than it does about me, Elite.
yeah,
Just want to point
it
that
does.
out. Sorry,
I
guys.
think so. And then we got Minecraft Legends. Anyone going to play Minecraft Legends?
Yeah, but not with you, Elite. Fuck you.
Yeah. And then we got Forza, which looks incredible. We've got Redfall, which I think looks amazing. I can't wait for that. And then the high res Rush game. So yes, Jen, go on then.
Go on then, I'm ready for you now.
Yeah.
No, I actually thought the format was fantastic and it was a complete slam dunk for me. I think they managed our expectations really well by saying that it was only going to be the 4 games. I did tweet at the time that I was hoping there was going to be a bit of a surprise, and I was really happy that we got that shadow drop. So I got everything I wanted from that direct. I just want to know how often they're going to do these now, because if you remember, we used to have the Inside Xbox shows that nobody watched because they were boring as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, Xbox didn't have anything to talk about at the time, but now we've got so much planned for 2023. I want to see these shows every couple of months if possible. You know, all the gameplay that's coming up for all the games that are coming out. So I think they've got plenty of content to do this every 2 months. So I'm hoping it's an ongoing thing and not just a one-off. As much as I think it was a good show, I don't think it was excuse enough for me for missing the Game Awards. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah,
Anyone?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I agree too. I agree. Yeah. We all agree.
I never care. Does anyone care about the Game Awards? I don't care about the Game Awards. I'm quite happy for Microsoft to miss it every year. I don't know why there's so much. Oh, Microsoft didn't show up. That means they're dead. I much prefer saying like this after the Game Awards show than show up the Game Awards show.
I just think it speaks volumes when we're the only, brands that aren't there. It does, like, it looks bad on us. They could have shown a couple of trailers at least. The absolute no-show, I think, looked really bad on the Xbox brand. That's just my opinion. And I don't think this takes away from that. As much as I appreciate them doing it, I still think they could have showed up to that Game Awards show.
No, I agree. Especially considering that they've been there for the last, 2, 3, 4 years showing off consoles and other games and stuff. So yeah, they should have had at least one trailer just to be there, but they didn't. So this is still good. I really what?
I was gonna say, well, maybe they should have just showed up and just showed one game.
Yeah,
Hi-Fi Rush, and Shadow dropped it during the show, and then just left and said "bye, bitch" to Jeff and slapped him.
slapped him.
And then walked off.
Slapped him with your bell end.
Yeah, it just left him to it. So it just Shadow dropped the game. Maybe they should just from there on just show one game and Shadow drop it on live on the Game Awards show, because that would just completely take the thunder away from Sony wherever they show it. If they just Xbox just turned up and Shadow dropped one game every game. Yeah, but.
Hi-Fi Rush was the absolute winner of that show, though, wasn't it? Like, it was absolute marketing genius dropping that. I mean, no one's ever heard of it. There was no chance for like the weeks ahead of its launch for people to be slagging it off on Twitter, saying, "Oh, look at this animation style, blah blah blah." They knew we were hungry for something new, and they completely gave it to us. I wouldn't normally even try a game like that, but because it dropped, at the click of a finger and everyone was playing it, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting into this. It was just perfect marketing, in my opinion.
Well, apparently it was Bethesda's idea, not Xbox's.
Yeah.
So that's interesting in itself as well.
Yeah.
Don't know how true that is, but I saw that in an article or something.
I read that too.
That it was actually Bethesda's. Yeah.
But I just want to.
I can believe that because I don't think Xbox have got particularly good marketing skills.
Oh, I know, right?
Like the only time that they did really, really well was like Shadow dropping like the first shots of like Hellblade 2 at the Game Awards when they showed the Series X. They're like, let's do this and this. Like, that was genius in 2019.
Jeff almost cried, didn't he?
Yeah. But like,
because he wasn't aware of it.
Very quickly to Shizno Elite's point where he's like, we're Sony at E3 and Gamescom and TGS. I get that. They don't show up to those events. However, they had games released last year. Yes, they were all pushed back from 2021, but they released. Whereas Xbox was very light on games releasing last year, and they were very quiet towards the end of the year as well. So I think that's the big difference there, is there were games releasing throughout 2022 for PlayStation, whereas they weren't releasing except for like third-party titles on Game Pass. And yes, there were plenty of games to play there, but like the first party was lacking, and so the expectation would have been to show something at the Game Awards like they have every other year prior, and kind of really, really done well with that mind share and kind of making sure that people know that Microsoft is there other than Game Pass, etc., etc. So I think I get what you're saying, Shizno, but the issue was the lackluster 2022 in comparison.
I'm going to counteract that point though, and come to Shizno's defense here. I'm going to counteract that because Sony did turn up, but what did they show? They didn't show any of the games that they're releasing this year from their first party.
Oh, he's talking.
They just showed a bunch. Yeah, yeah, you're saying, but they showed up. They didn't need to because they released delayed games in 2022, and then they turned up to the awards ceremony and showed some games. But the games they did show were all third party games and multiplats for the most part, with their name attached to it.
But they were still there. And
they
had the PlayStation logo, and that's what counts. That was showing. Yes, there was Xbox Game Pass, but people want Xbox games to endorse Game Pass.
But we're still none the wiser about what games they're releasing this year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We are none the wiser.
And we've still got no gameplay either. Yeah. So it was a bit smoke and mirrors, really. It's like, yeah, we're here. Look, here's our logo, yada yada. But what games you coming out this year? Don't worry about that. Never mind about that. I think there's still a bit sort of sort of trying to just misdirect you a bit. Sort of, look, we was here, we were showing these games.
Well, they had
That's great. What games coming to Xbox? Great. What are you bringing out in 2023? And they're like, no, don't worry about it. Yeah, and they got their hands over their ears.
They had a massive lackluster 2021, and they got called out to no end in 2021 for being super silent, and then they suddenly started talking about games, and it just goes to show how finicky and the industry is, and how gamers just have no memories.
I just want to see if they do turn up to E3 this year or any showcase, because they've done a showcase for almost 2 years now. I just want to see if they just turn up to something, or if they're just gonna not budget, save money, and just keep sort of hanging on to the end of Game of the Year awards from now on. So is that what they're gonna do? Just sort of buy into those and not do their own showcases, which would be really sad. So
if it works for them and it saves them money, why not?
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's quite clever.
They're clearly bleeding money.
It's clever, but but then you need that same criticism, that same energy. You can't sort of crucify Xbox for showing up at every event.
But you can, because that's popular. That Xbox crucified all last generation because it was popular to do so. And there's still people of the same mentality that if it's going to get clicks, let's bag on Xbox. And that's the thing.
So if Xbox stopped showing up to all these showcases and just showed up to the Game of the Year's awards, and there was no showcases throughout the year. Yeah, that's what I mean. So
Sony are destroyed for the same reasons, though. We know this.
Yeah.
Look, there's only a handful of shows every year. They should be at all of them.
Yep, they should.
Whatever
Absolutely.
capacity is, it's going to be different. So their E3, they've got to obviously have a full hour and a half or whatever that they do, right? But when it comes to the TGAs, they've got to be there at least one friggin' trailer.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
But they need to be there.
Sides,
even if it's Sea of Thieves that no one gives a shit about.
Yep.
What are you saying, Elite?
That's both Sony and Xbox should shop.
I don't care about what Sony do, though.
Yeah.
No, but they for a balance, they should both. You can't.
Yeah,
Nintendo
absolutely,
should be at everything. Xbox should be at everything. PlayStation should be at everything. They should be at everything. It's visibility, and it shows that they're invested in the community and the consumer base. And also, it just gives us a bit of, I guess, puts our mind at ease about what's coming into the future.
Confidence, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a major gaming event. We should be there.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you ask a PlayStation fan what games are releasing for PlayStation this year, he will list games like Hogwarts and stuff like that as their games releasing this year. And you're like, what?
Oh, exclusive DLC,
Yeah. But they do actually list those games, don't they? They do actually list.
They do,
but that's down to their very clever advertising, which, again, I don't fault them on. I think we need to do more of that as Xbox. But, we don't employ some of these underhand tactics, unfortunately.
But back on to the actual main topic of the actual developer direct.
Yes.
we kind of sidetracked a little bit. Who hasn't given their thoughts?
Through the games.
Yeah, let's. I'll quickly give my thoughts very quickly before we actually do a bit more of a deep dive into the titles. I was thoroughly impressed with this. I would give this like an 8.59. You were so right, Jen, around the actual formatting, the way they showed it off. It wasn't full of all this extra crap. Like when they were doing those things on Twitch and you had like 4-hour stream with all these content creators and all, and I was just like, oh, I can't sit here and watch this. Just give me the highlights. This was quick, fast. It told you what you needed to do. It showed gameplay. It had that shadow drop that, like, it was rumored, leaked that Tango Gameworks was going to show up, and people were going, nah, they're not going to show up, and then they did, and the actual game itself didn't leak, which was good. And it was just surprisingly well done. Not every game there was for me, but that wasn't the point. I was very much caught up in the way that this program ran, and the fact that it's so well informed, and I'm just super excited and very happy with what we actually got. Even though it was 5 games, it was quick, simple, and I agree, they need more of these developer directs throughout the year in place of events if they're not going to attend an event. Like, this was great, the fact that they kind of heard the feedback, they got this sorted, and now the only thing that was really missing from the event is just going a quick little placeholder to go, hey, just listen out, in the next couple of weeks we're going to announce when the Starfield show is going to be on. I think that was the only thing that would have just made it a 10 for me, was just kind of going, hey, this is the time frame for when we're going to drop the Starfield announcement, or deep dive. I think that would have been perfect, and it would have just made it even better. When to expect that, yeah.
Indeed. I was impressed with the show as well. Ran for 45 minutes, showing 5 different games. And we've sort of seen a bit of information on Redfall, a little bit on Forza Motorsport in the past, including Minecraft Legends, but it was good to get a bit of a breakdown on what they've been working on and some release dates. Although I do feel that some people were a bit upset with Forza Motorsport only saying coming 2023.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
without a specific date on that, people started to clutch at straws, thinking it's 6/20/23, which is an American date, which is backwards, so it's wrong. Anyway,
Yep.
it's good that they've said, look, Forza Motorsport's 500 cars at launch, which is awesome. Advanced physics that is more than 4, 5, and 6 put together. So that they've been building this for a long time. They're putting in this extra effort. They're even putting realistic lighting with ray tracing,
Global
paint,
illumination.
dirt build up, for Christ's sake. They're putting dirt build up that's bespoke to each car based on recesses and stuff. Like, this is something that I think once we actually get it in our hands on a 4K TV, there's going to be so many clips and photos of it
No
all over
YouTube
Twitter.
compression, so that'll be even better.
Exactly right. I mean, they've even mixed the sounds specific for, what is it, Sound Sonic or whatever it's called, and Dolby Atmos.
Yep. Sonic 1 and Dolby Atmos, yeah.
Yeah, right. So they've actually been mixing the sounds for it to work. When you upgrade an engine, it's going to change the sound of that engine. They've got, 20 different locations plus all those 20 locations as well. They've actually gone there and they've actually filmed it. So they've got photogrammetry and scan data to make it look as realistic as possible. So we're going to see a huge uplift in graphic fidelity, gameplay, mechanics, everything. So that's huge in itself. So that's something to look forward to. I'm not much into the actual racing motorsport side of things. I prefer the more open world Horizon stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't not pick this up and play it.
It's coming to Game Pass.
It's coming to Game Pass, exactly. When, we're not sure. Probably, I guess, October, November release. I can shut up if you want, or I can keep going on other games if you want.
Oh no, I think Forza's pretty good as a topic to kind of talk about and everyone get their opinion on that,
cool,
and then we can move on to another game. Yeah. Elite, you've been real quiet. What are your thoughts on what was showed for Forza Motorsport?
Yeah, I'm not much into racing games, but the game does look and sound fantastic. And what they also got is the damage, isn't they? I think each car has its own damage thing. It's not like a just generic damage thing. It gathers its own dirt and damage and stuff, which looks amazing. Which sadly, Gran Turismo was lacking, I think, damage. And the physics and stuff as well in it would look incredible. So I mean, you see some of the cars flipping and just taking damage as they're like getting obliterated as they're rolling. I think, this is gonna. I think the game's gonna blow minds. A release date, I think it's gonna be June. I think end of June, which will lead, because I think they're still gonna stick by the 12-month thingy. Because I got a feeling Starfield's gonna drop in March. Jen probably knows when it's dropping. I reckon it's going to drop in March, and Forza's going to drop in June, and then I think we're going to have something like Hellblade 2 drop something like October, November. That's my estimate.
Interesting. I disagree, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You're wrong.
By the way, for the original gamers of motorsport, they're bringing back the tuning and stuff, so you're actually be able to get in there and tune the crap out of your cars. I know that they sort of took that out in previous titles, so that's all coming back. So for those that like that sort of stuff, that's coming back to the game.
And there'll be another deep dive. But Jen, what are your thoughts on what was shown for Forza Motorsports? Because they also had the Forza Monthly, and there was like a little bit in there talking to the studio head from Turn 10 Studios about this game. But yeah, what did you think of the showing at the Developer Direct?
Forza's not really my kind of forte, but my toddler is obsessed with anything with wheels. So it's the only game I can play while he's awake. So that's how I end up playing it. Yeah. So I'm like, oh no, please come on, let mummy play Paw Patrol Racing. It's more my level. But he's like, no, red car. He sees it on the dashboard and is like, oh God, got to play Forza Horizon. So that's my experience with Forza. But really, I don't think they get enough recognition for how close to photorealistic graphics they get. So every time I see them show something, I'm like absolutely gobsmacked with what's on show. So that's my opinion. If I've ever completed a Forza game, I literally just race around the track to my toddler cheering me on, but that's about it for me.
I was thoroughly impressed. Like, we had the showing of the engine and them talking about the fact that this is on-track ray tracing previously, and the fact that to reconfirm it, that they're aiming for 4K 60 at that sort of fidelity in line with what would be what you would expect for the Series X. You can just imagine what full kitted out like PCs, the big rigs would be pushing on the ray tracing front and all of that, because they have the overhead in the GPU and the CPU and so on and so forth. So Turn 10 Studios, that Forza engine that they used, yes, because they improved it. They have spent 5 years making this game, built it up from, like, did everything from the ground up. Like you said, when they're updating an engine, they really have to take a look at everything in the engine to see what they can improve. So audio was a big thing. The physics mechanics, just redoing all the car models. There's 500 cars, 100 of them are new and have never been like in Forza. There are new cars that have never been in Forza before as well. The tracks that have been all built, the 20 environments are built from the ground up with the photogrammetry, with the realistic things, the 3D crowds, the way they've got the day-night cycle. You just look at this and it is definitely a next-gen iteration of a car simulation game, and I'm so impressed with it. What we've seen so far, I can't wait to get my hands on it. Like, I don't usually play Forza Motorsport specifically. I'm more like yourself, Ashtray. I play Forza Horizon. I play more arcadey style racing games. But I sometimes dip my toe into playing the simulation Forza games occasionally. Usually not on my profile because I don't have anything unlocked. But I just the lighting, everything about this game just thoroughly impressed me, and you can see the developers are super excited to show this. It still needs a little bit of work, which is why, and a bit of polish, which is why it's not going to be releasing before June, and I expect this to release in September, October sometime, in line with previous Forza titles, and it just kind of pushes out another title into the second half of the year, because Starfield could fall anywhere, maybe June, who knows, but again, Starfield could always fall later in the year. We don't know what's happening with that. We'll hear more about it obviously later on. Hopefully we get a release date when we get the the Starfield breakdown. But like, this game to me, just so impressed, and I'm really upset about the fact that GT7, which was announced as a PS5 only game initially, when they said they were making it back, allowing it to be a cross-gen title, just meant that you knew that they weren't able to do things with that game that they would have done if they were only focusing on next gen only. And so even the environments were a bit lackluster. The physics, the damage, everything like that wasn't where it should be for that type of game. And so I would like to see what Polyphony Digital does with a fully next gen PS5 title, but comparatively to other racing sims, Forza Motorsports with Turn 10 just seem to be a class above the rest.
Red, I just wanted to ask you something. Are you familiar with like the money that's involved with like racing game enthusiasts?
Yep.
With what they spend on peripherals and
their rigs,
steering wheels,
racing rigs, and
yeah. Have you ever been interested in that side of it?
I've wanted to, but I don't have anywhere to put it. Or else I probably would.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking like £200 blimmin' pedals for a racing game. I cannot imagine spending that much on an accessory for a game, but I've always wanted to talk to somebody that had, just to see like what's going through your mind.
Well, we'll have to put you in touch with Mr. Colt Eastwood
I was
because he's
thinking
got one.
Does he
So-
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
got
wow.
you should check out his channel. He's he's got the whole setup with the seat and everything.
Or Frogboy X1 Gaming does as well. He's got a racing rig as well. He's a YouTuber.
Yeah. I mean, does it make you perform better, or is it just a?
I think it's just a
self-satisfaction
different- I
That's what
think
she
it's just
said
a
as well.
different
Does it make you perform better?
Nice. I think it's just a different experience. You're gonna get a bit more of a I don't know about realistic, but yeah, I think that's the aim for it, and it's gonna probably feel a little better using a steering wheel than a controller. So it just depends on how the feedback is through that steering wheel.
There will be a lot of adjustments and a bit of a like getting used to it and so on. Because some people get the pedals, some people just have the actual just racing. Oh my god, why can't I think of what it's called?
Steering wheel.
Steering wheel. That's
gears.
the word. Yeah. They get the gear shifter. They go all out. And it's just each to their own. I think that's a bit overwhelming for me. I'd need to like talk to people and work it out and how that is. But if I had the space, I probably would. I just like sitting down and, or I'll just get in my own car and drive. Yeah. There you go.
Fair enough. Anyone interested in ZeniMax's online Elder Scrolls Necrom?
Oh no.
No?
I mean what?
Yeah, let's move on next topic.
She's just
Nobody
been
discusses
blacklisted.
that.
I'm gonna get her off. No, I'm kidding.
You know what? Skyrim is one of my favourite games of all time. It's one of those games that I used to play every single winter. It was a comfort game for me. And I did try Elder Scrolls Online, but it's just
Not the
it just
same.
feels weird as a multiplayer experience. I know you can play it as a solo person, but just having other people running around behind me while I'm exploring dungeons is really off-putting, and I could not get into it. But I cannot fault how much content they pump out for that game. They must be making an absolute fortune from it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I wish I loved it because I'm sure I'd be very satisfied if I did. But I'm just holding out till Elder Scrolls 6 and hoping, that comes soon, which I'm probably going to be
I
disappointed.
find like
You
playing.
can play it with me because Red and Infinite doesn't want to, so you can play it with me, Jen.
I find that like playing ESO solo is not fun. It's not
No, you
designed
can't.
to.
You can't play
No, playing it with other people and jumping in and like having those shared experiences and like figuring things out and running off to wherever you are. Every time I've played in a group, I've had a way better experience because you've got the different classes. You're kind of vibing off each other and like doing different skills, and it's a completely different experience when you're playing with other people in your own party, like in comparison to playing it by yourself. Even in a guild, that makes it so much easier. I'm excited because I love MMOs. I was big into Guild Wars 2, and I've played a lot of this when it initially came out, but then all the expansions, I was a bit iffy with like having to pay for all those expansions at the time. So I just bought the Necrom expansion, which comes with all the other expansions automatically. So, because it's only a trial, they've got a trial to like the 31st of January to have a go and jump back in. But I was playing and I was like, one of my favorite things is character customization and like creating a character. So like the excuse for a new subclass to create a new character, go for it.
Yeah. I made a wiki vampire on that game.
Well, I've got a werewolf. One of my characters are a werewolf. There you go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So what else we got? We got Hi-Fi Rush, and they showed Redfall as well, and Minecraft Legends. Should we talk about Redfall?
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this game. Go on, you was gonna say, Jen?
Yeah, sorry. I'm so excited for Redfall. It's one of my most hyped games of the year. I absolutely love vampire games, vampire movies, everything. And I didn't play an Arcane game until I played Deathloop, which I absolutely loved. I was so like bitten by the bug with Deathloop and their gameplay. That I've got every confidence this game's going to be amazing. I've seen a lot of polarising views about it on Twitter, though. I'm not sure what people are expecting from it. I don't know if it's the graphics that are throwing people or what, but it looks very much on par with what Arcane have put out before.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, they haven't put out anything other than a banger. So I've just got every confidence in it. I just think it's not advertising very well at the moment. But it will be an amazing co-op game as far as I'm concerned. And if it's coming out in May as well, we haven't got long to wait. So any more footage they can show of that game will be well received by me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I don't blame you. Like,
anyone else?
I am.
Yeah, I'm so hyped.
I will. Okay, I'll be completely honest. Redfall didn't. It seemed interesting. It was a new IP, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I like Arcane, and I wasn't that overly interested in the game, but this actual deep dive explaining a bit more about the game and like what you're going to be doing in there and the different type of activities and events and that little bit fleshing it out, just kind of really, I started to get more excited on the last showing of it, but like this one really tipped me over the edge, and I can't wait to play this title now. I'm really excited. And for those who are taking like screenshots and putting it on fucking Twitter with its compressed thing and then comparing it to other games and going, this looks trash and so on and so forth, like, games that are fun, you don't care what they look like. Like, I'm busy back going playing like GoldenEye at those graphics from the 64 era, and it's still fun to me, and I don't care what the graphics look like. Like, Vampire Survivors is not a graphically impressive game, but the replayability and the fun you have and the addictive nature of that title is why you go back and play a game. And the fact that you can play this in 4-player co-op, or you can play this single player, I think Xbox is doing a great job of allowing people to play games if they want to play single player, but also for that community aspect of bringing gamers together to enjoy titles and have those conversations and go, hey, what are you playing, or what character are you going to be doing, and those conversations. And that's why we're here, and that's why we're at the podcast every week, is because we like talking about games. We all are passionate about them, and I think people just need to put this in their hands and play it. For those who aren't sure about it, it's coming to Game Pass. You've got the subscription, maybe just pay for a subscription for a little bit, test the game. It's not for you. You didn't fork down all the money to play it, to pay for it day one, and you don't have to worry about trying to get a refund back on your money. And I think like this game looks really fun, and I was so impressed with it. It's showing at the Developer Direct that I can't wait to play this title when it launches on May 2nd. Yeah.
Anyone arguing that graphics makes a game have never played Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
like Astro.
Look at like The Legend of Zelda. Some of them aren't, like, they've never been overly graphically impressive, except for depending at the time, like the 64, Ocarina of Time was graphically impressive at the time. But like those games, you do not need to have a graphically impressive game to play it. Like, some games can be completely immaculate looking and be boring as hell to play, and then you're just kind of just trying to tell yourself, oh, the game's so pretty, that's enough to make me enjoy the title. No, that is not enough to make you enjoy the title. It is an aspect, but it is not enough.
That's
I
it.
don't think the graphics are a bit bad, to be honest.
I think they look good.
People are downplaying it. Yeah, I think it's good. It's just a general Arcane game.
Yeah.
And Arcane are not making it on their own, are they? Because I personally didn't. I was really hyped when it was first shown, Deathloop. I think it was first shown at a PlayStation showcase, wasn't it? This is that. I think in 2020, and I thought that game looks the kind of game I like. That's my style of game. I remember we done a podcast and talked about it. But when I played the game, I didn't really like it, and I didn't really like the mechanics of it too much.
Arcane has more than one studio, right? Like, this is Arcane Austin, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
really? Is it? Okay, good. Yeah, because this looks more like an FPS kind of thing. And I thought someone else was working with them. Like,
I think they
ID
went to
working on this?
id about the gun gameplay for the gun, like to make sure the guns
exactly.
felt right
Yeah.
when shooting and stuff. I think that's what they did. Yeah.
So we might have a more Doom style of game then, might we?
I think it's just to make sure that the gunplay feels good and fluid, and you want to play it.
Yeah, I think
so
that's more the
that's why
point.
I'm a bit more hyped for this. And yeah, the game looks both sort of. 4 players going to be great. I mean, you can play it with a single player, but I would rather play this sort of multiplayer. And I think that going around as a group of 4 would be fantastic because it looks like
4 of us right here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we could do.
Yay!
We could.
2 blokes, 2 girls, 2.
How about we
blokes,
just go
1 cup.
Jen, Ashtray, and myself, and we find a 4th?
Oh, that was cold.
I love you, Elite. I really do. I just have to troll you any chance I get.
As I said, the 4th player could be the cup.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. But I think it looks like it's got that sort of FPS action, but it still looks quite dark and sort of sinister, and sort of the vampires that sort of it looks like the way it's sort of still sort of quite of a sort of scary moments, and it looks quite. But everyone's comparing it all to Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood, which is
no. That's nothing like those games.
Yeah, it's because it's 4 player and it's got vampires in it. And Back 4 Blood. No.
You can see the love and time that they've put into it, and the way they talk about the world, and the fact that it's really bespoke this place, and they've really tried to like the environmental storytelling and so on. Like they really have put a lot of time and effort into this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, we got 4 playable characters, which is cool. So I'll have to search through and figure out which one's going to be best suited to my play style. But you can do things outside of the campaign, which is what I really like. So if you don't have any friends Elite online at the time, you can still jump in and play stuff outside of the main story.
Play with his pillow pets.
You can go and like do stuff outside the main story missions, so you can clean up suburbs and take back areas and locations on the map. There's stuff to do, and then when your friend or friends get online, then you can jump back into the storyline. The only thing that I've heard a few times now is that only the host gets the actual achievement progression.
Oh, like story. I think it's story progression, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think everyone gets to keep their guns and abilities, and loot, but they don't get the story progression. So, look, that could be good for replayability if you wanted to then, play with elite hosts it. He gets the story progression, and then you pick a different character and you play through.
Be because they don't want people to get left behind. Like, say you're jumping into someone else's world and you're further ahead and you're helping them, or say someone else is like further behind and you're jumping into, I think it's just to make sure that people get to experience it themselves the whole way through without skipping through the story themselves. And I understand it, but I still think that it would be helpful if you choose to play through it together from start to finish as a group of 4. It should progress for you the whole time. If it's the same team, same party, everything like that should progress.
Yeah, fuck you. I want my achievements.
I think the achievements will be fine. I don't think they'll do anything around the achievements. I think it's just a story progression from what we've understood from the rumblings. Yeah.
Well, either way, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But it'll be good because look, the only thing that I wish for, which is not happening, it would be if it was third person. I'm more into third person perspectives these days. But look, whatever, I'll get over it, I'm sure. But the game looks fun. No.
Give me a river.
Make me some dinner.
Oh my god. Elite. Visiting
messy as
hour
always.
is over for you, so you need to go back to your cell.
He's still podcasting from the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I need to go back to my pillow, my life-size pillow of red.
Pillow talk.
So we didn't cover. We've covered all the games.
Minecraft, Legends.
Minecraft.
I don't really have much to say there. I like the art style. I might give it a go.
Minecraft.
The Legends
It looks like
one.
Minecraft.
Yeah,
but it looks
it's like cell shaded.
shaded though, so it looks quite cool.
But it looks like Minecraft Dungeons.
No,
No.
Was that one of the shell? Was it like that?
no, they're different art styles. Go have a look at them.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm off.
Use your eyes when you look at them, though, okay, Elite?
Oh.
Yeah, that does help. Face the
wrong.
screen as well, and yeah.
And the two eyes
Make
that
sure
are
it's
on your
turned on,
head,
yeah.
not the other one.
I just glazed over because it was Minecraft.
Look, it's it's kind of PvE or PvP base building.
Yeah.
With these hordes of piglets or whatever that come along every now and then.
like
But I don't know. I think that'd be a little bit of fun, something for a games night.
Sort of your mob RTS style games with like when you think about like
yeah.
the original Warcraft titles, like you build your thing, then you go and attack the base and those sort of things. So
Did any of you guys
excites
play Happy Wars?
I loved
on
Happy
the
Wars.
360? Yeah, Minecraft Legends reminds me a lot of that from the footage I've seen so far.
Yeah.
The co-op tower defense style thing, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That and like even like when you go and play certain stages in oh my god, what's it called? Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, like certain stages, like that kind of reminded me of that sort of like you go in and you attack the things and you try and like so I'm excited. I will probably give it a go. Yeah.
Me too. So, and then you call Ashtray, did you all talk about Minecraft Legends, bless you?
We just did, and I just said it was base building, etc. I'll jump into it because it'd be something to.
Detail.
Oh, no, not really.
And hi-fi res, hi-fi rush. We've
Hi-Fi
already talked about. Hi-Fi rush.
Let's actually do a proper talk about that because that is like overwhelmingly positive. Did you hear the developers were just watching live people's reactions to it and people turning on the game and who were streaming it, and they were watching this and they had food spread out and drinks spread out there, so they were just hunkered down at the studio watching people react to the Shadow Drop title, and it's been overwhelmingly positive from user reviews on Steam and on Xbox, and I'm like you said, you're super happy for them considering like Ghostwire Tokyo launch, and this is a completely different game and genre in comparison to what they've previously done in the past with their horror genres that they've done. The art style so impressive, the gameplay loop very thoroughly enjoy it, and also they deserve it, and I feel like Ghostwire Tokyo didn't hit the mark with a lot of people, but I feel like a lot of people are super excited to get this and have a game in January from first party. Yeah,
it's the first party game, isn't it? Because it's made by so
Tango Games, which is a part of Bethesda Softworks. Yes, and it's got a user score of 9.3
on
Metacritic.
Yes,
on Xbox.
And it's like 9 or something on the PC, or 8.9 or something on the PC. It's quite high on there too.
Yeah.
It's 8.9.
There's no review scores for it.
No, because it shadow dropped.
Yeah, so I wonder how long we'll wait for those.
See, loads of people say that they've spent money on the game though, because isn't there a pack out that you can buy extra things for?
DLC, I think. Is it DLC? No, there's something. There's something for it. Yeah, some type of downloadable
There's
content.
something out for that I've seen. Yeah, that people have been purchasing because they've had it free in Game Pass and they want to support the developers. I just think it couldn't have been a more perfect drop for them. I think if they had told us about this at the Game Awards, it would have been ripped apart. Purely because of the animation style, you know, people are judgmental, aren't they, about what games should and shouldn't look like. But this, it's just been such a surprise. We all wanted even a little surprise at the developer direct, and for them to drop that, and everyone want to be a part of playing it at the same time. It's done well for them. Everyone downloaded it.
So it's exclusive for all, isn't it? Permanently exclusive, isn't it? Because it's a first party game. So.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
Has anyone ever played a rhythm game before? Have you played like Metal Hellsinger or anything like that?
No, I've not. Is that good?
No. No, I haven't either. I just wanted to know if you had, because this is the first rhythm game.
Yeah,
I've never tried it. I mean, I've got bad memories of Guitar Hero. I was terrible at that. This I could manage though.
Yeah.
I've played Metal Hellsinger, but it's that's almost kind of like a Doom clone type thing where it's first person shooter, and you got to shoot and do that to the rhythm. So this is a bit different. This is probably, I don't know.
That's what I walk into a room to. I walk into a pub, I walk into that.
Imagine that.
It's streaming.
Yeah, you can imagine it. Imagine you had real life sort of background music.
Is it working for everyone?
I'm just going to refresh it again and see what happens.
What if it said F?
Yeah, it's back up. It's back up, guys.
Yeah, back.
Yep.
Don't know what the hell happened.
It's still, the gameplay is still all...
I fixed it. Give it a second because
there
it was
we go.
buffering,
Nice
and
one,
now I
Red.
think it should have fixed itself. I don't know. OBS just decided to stop working. Oh no, the gameplay's being a funny again.
Yeah,
Why?
it's all...
I just got my tits out on camera and everybody missed it. What a shame.
Yeah.
What a shame.
You're supposed to send that
Well,
to Elite first, to vet.
Yeah. Just
He
because
gave
one
it a
was
10 out of 10.
one of them was exceptionally small.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what the gameplay's deciding to do this time, guys. It's just being stupid.
Are you getting a message at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen in OBS to say
Nope.
anything? No?
Nope. Nothing.
Trash.
Yeah, shit, bruv. Shit, my guy.
It's only playing up when I'm actually streaming. Like doing
Well, the only other difference is
Game flashes.
the new format. It's basically 3 videos running at the same time. So maybe that's causing issue.
I don't know. We'll play around with it. It shouldn't be.
That's what she
It was
said.
fine. It was fine when I had the developer direct up, and that was running another video. Like,
You had to... I didn't see that come up. I've always had the gameplay for Hi-Fi Rush up.
You didn't have the developer
Nope.
direct showing up?
No.
But everyone can hear and
Oh,
see us
anyway.
okay now.
And now I've
Yeah.
got something else up.
What were we
Let's get
talking
back-
about, Elite?
Yeah,
Elite, you were saying you had a bad rash and you were going to see the doctor?
yeah. I'll see the doctor.
Should
And-
fit in really well here, Blue.
Yeah.
Blue.
He's,
Elite.
he's got very big hands. That's what I say.
Mhm.
And
the
cold.
developer-
You said it was
Director's
on your
up,
left,
it's fine.
left ball sack, right? Yeah.
Left.
Yeah,
How
which
many
is
ball sacks
spreading-
does he have?
What were you saying?
Spread it.
Most certainly
From
have
left to right.
one.
What were you saying?
He's got a
Ashley,
right, left, and
before we-
centrical ball sack.
Yeah. What were you saying,
Okay,
Ashtray,
Bobby.
before the stream decided to cut out?
I have no idea. I think I was just talking about how the gameplay of Hi-Fi Rush
Oh yeah.
is like.
Continue.
It's a collectathon. It ticks a lot of boxes for fun, really, and playability. So I don't know how much time you guys have had with it. I've spent a couple of hours in it. I've already defeated the first boss that you come across, and unlocked a couple of different abilities. So it's been pretty good. The progression's fun. The platforming gets harder, which is frustrating, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I recommend playing it.
I recommend playing it too, but like, I'm so impressed by the actual quality of the game. And I don't usually play these games at all, and I have rhythm, but I'm not usually like rhythm fight. And why I don't usually play those games is the ones that give you a rating when you're fighting, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm shit at this. That's why I don't play them, because I'm like, I don't need to be reminded that I am not good at these types of games.
You want some positive reinforcement, don't you? That's what it is.
Exactly. I just need to see S
Yeah.
on screen, even if I'm doing a C. Just give me the S on screen. Yep.
I could interpret that in a
You can
completely different way.
interpret it any way
And
you
I
want.
just did.
Yep.
I definitely feel like the game has been a lot more forgiving with me at times
Well,
than it should have been.
I'm playing on hard, and because I was like, oh, I'm gonna give it a go, give it a giz, and it's not actually that bad. It's not that hard.
Well, I put on you know where it says that you can put the visual cues on, so that little bar at the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
I did consider at the time, I thought, oh, is this like putting the bumpers up at the bowling alley?
Yeah.
You know, which it completely is, but if it makes me enjoy the game, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So I put it up. It still didn't help me. I still struggled through that tutorial. But I did close my eyes and just tapped my foot and I got the rhythm and I completely got into it. So I'm like a rhythm game aficionado now. And I can play it on at least normal, not just easy. That's my claim to fame.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Elite, you've actually played it yet or what?
Yeah, I've played it. I've gone past the first boss and everything. Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
It's because I've got natural rhythm.
No, you
My
don't.
hips don't lie.
Yeah.
We all know
Imagine
that's a
this.
lie.
No, I'm actually in real life. I'm actually a very good dancer. Have you known? So,
Video or it didn't happen.
Yeah, basically. That's
so
what
I'm
I
giving
was gonna say.
I'm giving the wink now and giving the guns. So yeah, he lays that way.
He's trying to get them subscribers. He works hard for the money.
You should see his OnlyFans account, Jen. No, I'm kidding.
You should see my milkshake.
Brings all the boys to the yard and damn. Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, the show has really gone downhill. Yeah.
Well, you know,
And then Elite
Did
did it
Team
really
goes
have much of
downhill.
a hill?
Yeah.
He did send me a video from a dodgy Polish steam room last.
Damn.
Don't dodgy about it.
Shout out to the chat. Have you guys all decided to give Hi-Fi Rush a chance? If you haven't, I do recommend downloading it to give it a go.
Yes, we do.
Once, like, I found the gameplay quite addictive. Like, there was a section where I was like, I was meant to go do something. I think I was meant to do some dishes, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll just play this on for like, put this on, try the tutorial, see what it's like, and then I was like, 2 hours later, and I was like, oh, this game, I don't really want to put it down. So it's quite addictive once you start and once you get into it and you get the rhythm of the game. Haha. Yeah.
Right, have we got another topic?
No.
Nah, that's it.
No.
I
Yeah.
thought we had another topic.
No. It was
Oh,
a
we got- oh,
subtopic
yeah, no.
specifically
What was it?
about
Oh,
Hi-Fi
yeah,
Rush
what was
to
subtopic?
talk
Take the
about.
topic.
Yeah.
Well, there's loads of topics. We can keep going for ages.
Yeah, nah.
We're at the 2 hour mark now.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done. Let's go. Bye.
These guys still want to have their breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 12:30. We've been
Ashtrey's
2
on the
hours.
booze.
It's time to head out,
Ashtrey's
guys.
innocent.
I need to have
It's
some
the
brunch. Yeah. Before the weather really kicks in.
Right.
Oh my god, there's sunshine. There's sunshine. After all the rain yesterday, there is sunshine. But it's going to be
it's always
raining this
about you.
afternoon. It is all about me, Elite. Have you not noticed this? I just want to quickly say thank you, Jen, for joining us this week. It's been awesome having another female on the show because we don't get
That
a lot
makes
of them.
three.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Break up this sausage fest.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I mean, I do give as good as I get, so.
It's usually
but
the spit
You
rope.
definitely do.
yeah, it's,
Excuse me.
Usually.
you've been awesome. I think most of us are just gonna say, I'd love to have you back on again at some point. But you've been awesome. I've loved having you on.
Aw.
Straight shooter there. And if you aim for Elite, go for it. When you just shoot him.
You just like me because I rip into Elite. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, you just
Yes.
tell it like it is. Yeah, it's fine.
yeah.
I love being pegged.
Did you say you love being pegged?
Yes, he did.
Oh my god.
I thought
He
that's what she
enjoys
meant.
it.
18 plus stream, guys. 18 plus stream.
Demonetized.
Yeah, basically. Instantly. But yeah, it's been awesome having you on. But where can people find you, Jen? Because we're about to do some outros to head on out. But yeah, where can people find you if they?
You've got a YouTube channel, yeah? And OnlyFans.
Absolutely not. No. So yeah, I'm on Twitter, so at Genbox360, or I write on Windows Central if you're interested in reading my articles. I am top article of the day today. I will put that shout out for writing about Diablo. Yes.
Congratulations.
I'll have to add you on Xbox, Jen. I'll have to add you on Xbox. There you go.
Yes, if anyone does want to add me on Xbox, I'm Portal Mistress. And that's it.
Portal Mistress. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she'll just arrive
Interesting.
anywhere that you need her to show up
Understood.
because
Yeah,
she is a
that's
portal mistress,
honestly,
yeah.
That's not as kinky as it sounds. It is just completely nerdy.
Definitely
I
thinking
promise.
something
Say
else
you
there.
like the video
Yes.
games portal. just want to.
Elite's on the
Yeah.
same page as me.
You have much dirtier minds than I do when I made up that game tag.
Well,
but I'm stuck with it now,
hey,
unfortunately.
Jen, you should know what Red's.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you.
Usually-
Okay, my old gamer tag was Super Flaps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way worse than mine.
Mine was I got given the nickname because I talked too much, so they were talking about my lips on my face.
Oh.
And that's how I got the game. And before I jumped online, before I started doing this, I'm
what
like, I
lips
need to
are they?
change this gamer tag because I do not want to get fucking harassed. I mean, I would have had a lot of
Well, my
followers.
game tag makes me sound like a dom, which I am absolutely not. But if you want to add me for some Monster Hunter fun, I'm totally there.
There you go. Very good. Well, thanks for coming.
We've got a third for our Redfall. We just need to find a fourth now, Ashtray. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that
Yeah,
out.
we'll figure it out. Boba probably.
Yeah, most likely.
Poor Elite.
But where can people find you, Ashtray?
Yeah, they can find me on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, YouTube, and I'm sure somewhere else. YouTube, I think I said. I don't know. But all AshtreyGaming, TREY, all the same logo everywhere as well. Easy to find. I was going to drop a video this week, but then I lost 80% of it, and I went, fuck it, I'm not doing it. So, yeah, I need to get back into the rhythm of that. It's kind of hard.
Just play some
But anyway.
Hi-Fi Rush and you'll get into the rhythm. It's fine.
You're funny.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Very on
Indeed.
brand.
And Red, you?
You can
We've heard
find
about
me
your-
on Xbox and on Twitter and never on YouTube apparently, except when I'm on this show. But you can also find that my house is safe and sound from all the flooding because I live on top of a hill, so I'm good. Or else I wouldn't be here doing the show today if things had turned awry. Yeah.
Very good. Elite? Oh, he's
Yeah,
gone. He's
what's
left
up?
his own
I'm
show.
here. What's up? What you need? No, you can find me here. You can find me on Twitter, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You can
Very good.
find me. You can find me in the club.
And you can find
You can find me in the club.
In the club, run up, bud, my mark, what you need.
oh.
Oh,
Great show.
So there.
it's too early for this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
is. But yeah, you can find us, and yeah, it's been great having Jen on board. Hopefully she comes back. Hopefully she's not put off by Red Saxon.
It'll just be a show when you aren't on Elite. She'll show up for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys want me back.
No, you.
Yeah, we do.
We do. You're awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a little poll running as well, but I can't see the results for it.
We know you have a little poll.
25 votes. 72% show that 90 plus for the rating of the dev showcase. 24% say 80 plus. 4% say 70 plus, and 0 say 60 plus.
That's fairly positive then. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's 1 million votes.
Yeah,
on there. So that's good
yeah.
to see.
Yeah, that was out of a minute ago.
But please, for those who joined us live, please like, comment, share. If you put a comment on in the show afterwards to just let Elite know how big a fraud he is. And yeah, thank you all. We'll be back next week. But really appreciate you guys showing up for the Gamers Initiative podcast. Yeah, as per usual.
Indeed.
Alright.
Peace out, guys. Bye.
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 Thank you for joining. Bye. Bye. Bye.